Hey everyone, in this video I'll be outlining some basic techniques to make a crown appear more narrow, especially in the anterior region. In this particular case we're looking for a central, and that seems to be one, but this, I don't know if this gap will give us a good example, but let's just see what we can find. We may have to go with that one. Oh, there's one. No. Okay, well, we'll just go with this one for now. And in this video, I am using an older software. This is InLab 4.2.5. And honestly, I prefer this software over the new InLab 18 in some particular cases. So we'll redo this design. But you just get better customization. In my experience, with the InLab 18, you get the, as what you guys know it, the bio jaw. But in our software, it's positioning morphology phases, and I think that's in the new Symmetric software as well. But let's go ahead and dive into this, and now you guys know why I am using this older software. So this may not be a good example considering this distal contour line is behind the lateral, but I think you guys will get the point. So with this software, I always start out with the move and position tool, and I'll take away the contact so I can see all these this incisal line a lot better, and the way that the teeth are positioned, the natural teeth. So for something like this, I may leave it behind the lateral. Only thing you could do is tilt it that way, but for this case, we're going to leave it behind the lateral. But that's not the point of this video, so we'll bring it out in front just for the example. So with this software, like I said, I position it first. Then the very next thing I do, which this is the same concept or idea with the new InLab software, you first position it, and the new Sirona software, you first position it and then you choose a morphology. But in this older software, it's going to be biogeneric variation. So we'll start with that. And honestly, a good way to decide where I'm going to end this, I look at the wear on the incisal. So as you can see, it's a lot more flat right here. This doesn't have as much wear, so let's find something with wear, like say this one, or that's just thin. But this looks, it matches the natural dentition best, and that's how I'll decide where to stop with the biogeneric variation. So that's where we're going to stop, about right. So we're in the 50, we're in the 50, say 53 range to 66. And that's where we'll look. So I like 58. So for our technique that we're going to go over, and this is where the video should start, but we'll just proceed. First thing you're going to do after you position it, and after you figure out, what kind of morphology you like, you're going to take the anatomical two-directional and ideally the mesial will be in contact. You're never really going, you want that in contact, you want that ideal. This is where you have room to play on the distal. So first thing you're going to do, and this isn't the best example, but just bear with me here. First thing you're going to do is you're going to determine the width that you desire with this anatomical tool. So let's match tooth number 8, the width of tooth number 8, and you could use the grid if you desire, and that's where we'll go. So as you can see, the width is in this segment, and we're using the white lines to determine the midline. So it's around this segment, and we're just about there on this distal incisal edge. Now we'll play with that, but that's where you want the width, or say this is where it's ideal. This is where they're symmetric. You're going to leave it there. You're going to take away this grid, and we're pretending that tooth number 8 is this width. This tooth number 9. You're going to leave it there, and then you're going to turn it to the lingual, go to circular, 2-directional, and then when you bring this contact over, make sure this isn't big, because if it is big, it's going to bring this side over as well. You can see that this area is moving when you have it big, but when it's smaller and you grab it from the lingual region and bring it back rather than sideways to contact, you're going to bring it more back. It's not going to play with this contour line. So we're going to do that, and just follow me here on that. We're bringing it back. Bringing it back. Another thing about this old software is, say you have minimal thickness down here. With the InLab 18, I've noticed, and you may have noticed this as well, the circular tool, or when you're trying to shape it, it doesn't get down to this margin. But in this old software, it just fills it in with ease. It brings out that thickness with ease, and it's just great. So you get what I did there, and that's where we're bringing out that contact. You could see that it needs to be filled in right there. We're going to make it small, and that'll suffice for that contact. And again, we're imagining that this tooth is the same width as this. Now you could see where that contour line's established. You could even, play with that. So for this case, say this contour line isn't supposed to be all this round. You'll then bring it in. And that's good to me. And you're going to look at this from every angle. So even from this side view, you're going to make this all ideal, because this is what you're adjusting now. You've got the contact. Now it's just making sure that contour line looks natural and does the job at, gets the illusion done, I guess you could say. Because that's all we're doing. We're just making an illusion. So as you can see, there's a shadow right here because, well, this is what you would see. This contact is all hidden behind this contour line. So you get the point. And then after we get this filled in how we want it, it just did that when we made it too narrow with the anatomical. So we got that filled in. Now we're going to go to smooth. The strength, I never take it all that high. I'd rather go over it a couple times than, go over it once too much because the strength is too high. So we're going to smooth that out now. Smooth it out. Make it look like a tooth. Smooth that out because we don't want that valley, I want it to all be flush. So as you can see, it's very round in this incisal edge. So one thing I would do there is take this circular tool and bring that back. You could do it from this angle. Bring that there. And that's a little more ideal. Things can get very meticulous in the anterior region, and I'm just doing this by habit, but hopefully, you got something out of that. Anyways, so as you can see, we've taken a tooth that was completely out of contact. Ooh. Don't like that right there. That'll do. So as you can see, we've taken a tooth that was completely out of contact and brought it into contact without making it look any wider. And I'm sorry if this wasn't a great example. If you guys have any that you would like to share, any scans, you can send them over and hopefully to me, and hopefully that gives us a better result. And then as far as like something like this black triangle, you'd fill that in the same exact way. You would bring it back lingually. And, that's as far as I would take that. But, if you do have that round edge, take 4-directional circular, and I've showed you this trick before. Just bring that over, and now you've got a sharp incisal edge right there. And I use that a lot. And you can do it from this direction or from this direction. And depending on how sharp you want it, if you don't want it very sharp, increase the size. If you want it very sharp, decrease the size, and you'll get more of a sharp edge. So there's a sharp, decrease it, and now you're going to make something really sharp. I really hope that this is helpful. If, you're still having a issue with it not looking symmetric is in terms of width, and they are, your patient is opposed to adding composite to the other side, for example, then one thing you could do is add a darker stain in this region, and that will mask it even more. If the first technique doesn't work, bringing it back lingually. Anyways, I think this just about wraps up this video. If you guys have any questions or comments, just leave them in the thread, and